will see you guys in the dark.
This is what happened to me when I was 9. It was summer, and a circus came into our town. So me and my friends grabbed our bikes as we got money from our mothers and headed to the circus. When we got there, I wanted to buy some candy floss, but no one wanted to go with me. So I headed to the store, bought it, sat on the bike, and headed to the place where my friends were. But they weren't there anymore. I was looking around for them and saw a man staring at me. I got that "oh crap" feel and moved ahead. When I looked behind myself, I saw that guy again, walking slowly to me. But I tried to be a badass and stand still. There was a lot of people, so I felt really safe. But then he grabbed my hand and asked me how old I was. After a few seconds of nervosity, I started to shout, and Angel came with his son. Then the creepy guy told him that I'm his son and I have to go home, but Angel didn't believe him. The creepy guy squeezed my hand and I started to cry. Then Angel hit him in the face and the creepy guy ran away. I told Angel that I didn't know the guy, and he was staring at me a few minutes before, and that I lost my friends, but they were nowhere here. So Angel helped me find my friends and then bought me a lemonade. After that day, I wasn't able to go out with my friends for like a month. After that month, I was looking where my friends were every time and sticked really close to them. It was the early 90s in Vancouver on a really rainy day. Me and my friend were driving home in the mid-afternoon. We decided to take a shortcut through an industrial area that is mostly train tracks, and a windy road that was not often used, as through traffic actually. I'm not even sure why we were there. I think that my friend thought it was a shortcut, but it turned out not to be. As I said, it was pouring rain coming down in buckets. We saw this person riding a bike in the rain. It was most likely a transvestite, a really bad dressed one at that. He had crazy frizzy bright orange hair, badly applied, garish makeup. He was wearing what I can only describe as being circus clothes, raggedy harlequin type outfit, velvety. Bright colors. His bike wasn't a normal bike either. It looked really old and creaky. His movements were very exaggerated and out of sync. Like, imagine that every time the pedals came around, his knees would almost be hitting his elbows. Everything was very exaggerated. He fell off his bike and into a puddle. I think that he fell on purpose and wanted us to come and help him. The way that he fell looked so fake and weird. He lay on the ground and let out this childish wail. I can still see his mouth, with his bright reddish orange lipstick smudged all over it, opened so massively wide. He was sobbing, but it was in a fake, theatrical voice. My friend was the driver. We both let out a little scream when he fell. "Should we go and help him?" my friend asked. "No!" I yelled, and we sped away. We both felt really guilty and horrible afterwards, but we both also felt that he fell on purpose because he wanted us to come over to him. We didn't know what he might do, possibly to try to get us to give him a ride home. Whereupon, he'd tell us that he was homeless, and we'd somehow be stuck with him forever. My other thought was that he'd drag us down a storm drain, just like it. Mainly, we both felt that he was bad news, and that we'd seriously regret ever going over to help him. After my first semester of university, at the beginning of May, I decided to reward myself by getting tickets for a band I wanted to see. They weren't playing my hometown, unfortunately, and the nearest venue they were playing was in a small town 6 hours away by train. I had a friend who attended university in town who agreed to let me stay with her, so I figured that I would be fine to go up. I had never been to this town before, but having lived in larger cities my entire life, I often associate small towns with safety. I declined my friend's offer to drive me to the concert, considering she was studying for finals, and I enjoy a good walk. The town was divided by a river, and to cross that river, we had to first go over one bridge, then walk through a park on an island, then cross the second bridge to get into town. To get to the first bridge from my friend's university, you had to walk down a nature trail. All this was perfectly lovely, as I did it at sunset. I had just emerged from my first winter in a rather harsher environment than I had to grow up in. And the whole nature trail park combo was filled with joggers and children playing with squirrels and everything that I had missed. This is only noteworthy in that I felt completely at ease with my route, but I was pretty distracted and didn't pay a whole lot of attention to exactly which path I had taken. The concert didn't let out until probably slightly past midnight. I got to the first bridge, crossed, and proceeded across the island to the second bridge. It was a nice night out, and I was actually sort of enjoying myself in the warm spring air. That is, until I got to a hill I didn't remember walking over on the way there. I stopped at the base of it, feeling that something was off, but eventually attributing it to the fact that I had somehow forgotten an entire hill. How funny. I thought I walked up the mystery hill. All my thoughts ceased as I got to the top, and found myself looking down the path into an empty carnival, and beyond that, a second bridge. Bit of context. I'm 5'7", 120-pound female, trained as a circus performer pretty much my entire life. This means that whenever extra weight I carry is pretty much all muscle, and also that I don't have any sort of fear of carnivals, or clowns, or anything of that nature. But walking over a hill, I don't remember seeing an entire carnival, but I didn't really see any way around it. Plus the bridge was right there, and besides, the carnival looked abandoned. So I start off down the other side of the hill into the creepy carnival, maintaining a quick pace, definitely on high alert. I kept my focus mainly on the bridge I was aiming for. I was most of the way through when I saw the people. I saw them from far enough away that I didn't jump, but I did stop dead in my tracks. They seemed pretty normal looking by their clothes, and I was too far away to see their faces. They were sitting in whatever was available: lemonade stands, immobile roller coasters, covered picnic tables. I didn't really know what to do about any of it at all, and I'm sure there were much, much better options available. But in the moment, feeling I had to do something, I started to walk towards again, and as I did, I made eye contact with the first one of them I saw, and held it as I walked through them. The man I had chosen to look at, I remember very vividly, looked a lot like I imagined death would look like: a gaunt, drawn-out face with no expression of any type, sunken eyes that followed me as the rest of his body stayed still. From what I could tell, the rest did the same. I was terrified out of my wits, and for some reason making eye contact with this zombie of a man was the only thing that I felt was keeping me safe. I never broke eye contact with him until I reached the second bridge, so far as to opt to walk backwards down the hill. I turned and crossed the bridge at a sprint, and someone shouted behind me, which only prompted me to run faster. Now, I mentioned that the route from the university to the bridge was a nature trail. This meant that it had no lights on it, and was as black as the void. Trees covered up the moon, and making it impossible to see anything. I didn't care. I ran down the trail, tripping over who knows what. Anything to put my distance between me and the creepy carnival people. Eventually, I reached a path of lights at the edge of the university, and stopped. There wasn't any noise, anymore except for crickets and my own frantic breathing. If any followed me, they hadn't done so for long. I managed to gather myself together enough and remember that I did in fact have a cell phone, which at that point I used to call my friend to have her meet me at a well-lit spot on campus, populated by studying students. I told her what happened, and her eyes got really wide. As it turns out, unbeknownst to me, there were two trails through the park on the island, a north and south one. I had taken the north one on the way there, and accidentally taken the south one on the way back. She told me that people never ever pass through the carnival at night, as it was where the local meth addicts would hang out. They were unpredictable at best, and at their worst, well, muggings were the least of it. I had gotten off extremely lucky, so everything ended up being explainable, but somehow that made it even worse. I didn't sleep very well that night, and when my friend offered to drive me to the train station across the river the following evening, I had accepted. Years ago, when I was a teenager, I broke up with my ex, and it was at this time around Halloween. Now I felt a bit lonely and bored, and wanted to sign up here to tell a few stories. I'm in my mid-20s now, and English is not my first language. So I was chilling in my room when my ex texted me, "Look outside," with a clown emoji. So I looked outside, confused and scared, and there were two masked, grown-ass men in front of my window. I shat bricks. I was so scared that I got kind of paralyzed. As soon as they saw me, they drove off, never to be seen again. Of course, I blocked my ex and all, but he was in an asylum before, and I only knew this after our relationship. I was young and dumb and took ecstasy, and this was how we met. He was my dealer, so this wasn't a good idea to even begin with, but I don't take it anymore and regret it deeply. But now back to the story. Then came Halloween a few days later, and another clown was in front of my window, jumped in front of my car. The brakes of the car sounded like in the movies. He then let a loud, recorded clown's laugh fill the empty streets. I don't know if it was even related to my ex, because in the little town I lived in is a dumb popular trend to dress up as a killer clown and scare people. Some got even injured. Now, many Halloweens after, I still think about it. I'm scared since to go outside at this time of year, even when nothing else ever happened. I don't have anyone to talk to about it, because nobody takes it too seriously, and the police can't do anything without any evidence. I don't want to meet any of these psychos ever again. I'm so scared, but at least the story may entertain some of you.